Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Raygque. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Wednesday, April the 20th, 2022, 4:20 here on Wake Up with Raygque. Jay Rich, what up, baby? How you doing this morning, big dog?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's funny you mentioned that because I've been seeing 420 ads every day on Twitter. Every day. Because, you know, people who don't know, weed's legal in Canada. So those dispensaries, man, they got to get their ads out. They got to promote their stuff. But here we are. You know, it's been a good day.
I didn't know it was legal in Canada, man. I didn't know y'all were just... No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So y'all just got dispensaries and...
Cool, dispensaries, man. Left and right. You go down the street 5 minutes, you got one dispensary. The other way, 5 minutes, you got another one. It's crazy, man. They're popping up all over the place.
Man, I went to Colorado a couple of months ago for work, and it was my first time in a long time experiencing just walking in and just let me get a little bit of that and a little bit of that. Let me get some of those that are already pre-rolled for me. Just walk down the street with it was an amazing feeling. So yeah, I don't know if you partake in the devil's lettuce, but if so, if you celebrate this glorious holiday, have fun, enjoy, and if you don't, then stay away from the gateway drug to crack cocaine is what some people like to say. But Ro, good morning. Dynasty Barry in the building. James, Marlon, Johnny's in the building. Ty. KBD, my boy KBD in the building. Lucas, Lindsey Mack, Ricardo, Josh, Joe is in here. Joe's in the building. Sam Brown, Fourth and Wings podcast. What's going on, everybody? Happy to see y'all. Alex, what's up? Jay, where's Mike A at? Where's Mike A at? We're definitely gonna talk basketball for 40 minutes.
There.
If Mike A is in the building. If Mike A is in the building. Suns and Pelicans, Timberwolves were ass. Who else do we need to talk about? Because I know that's what Mike A tuned in for. But we are following the NBA playoffs. If you kind of watched our videos that we post after the fact, we do NBA prop bets, and it was a solid night for us last night, Jay. It was a profitable night. Could have been a little better. Jaren Jackson failed us by .06 for his fantasy score, but overall, the betting model is working well, and I just want to let y'all know. So we plan on doing a contest during the season. For those of you who have access to Prize Picks, we are going to, throughout the NFL season, we're going to pick a game every week, and then we're going to have like a set amount of prop bets that we bet on, and it's the same shit that we do for fantasy. Rushing yards, receptions, receiving yards. We're going to have a leaderboard that we're going to review every week. And the winner at the end of the regular season is going to get a nice prize from old GQ. I don't know if we're going to put in and it's going to be cash prize, if it's going to be giveaways of helmets and jerseys or a combination of the both, but it's going to be hella fun. So make sure you're tapped in. Make sure you subscribe to Prize Picks. Use the promo code, register. They give you $100, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the podcast. 4D Chess, Mike and Adam doing dope stuff. If you want to know about what's happening in 2024, 2025, make sure you're tapped into Ben Eby's Elite Seeker Show, and then Ike and Eugene with Off the Line, sort of covering everything from redraft perspective, dynasty. Make sure you're tapped in. And Jay, can we announce that we have a new show coming to the lineup real soon? I'm so excited about this. What do we have coming to the old Film Guys Dynasty podcast atmosphere? What's on the horizon?
I mean, it's a little early because it's still, I think we're planning for a June launch, right?
I don't give a shit. Talk about it.
With our main man, Jordan Backus. He's finishing up his school, but once he's done school, man, he's going to be diving headfirst into the content. He's the director of all of our analytics, and he's going to be launching a podcast around analytics and how he sees them, explaining them, and kind of the way that we do Dynasty and the way that he gives us this information and makes it easy to digest for us. So for us, it's great because we have a lot of guys that talk ball, but we don't have anybody who talks numbers. And so JB's going to be bringing that to the podcast feed. And we'll probably do a show with him at some point for the first episode. But we want to make sure that you guys know that it's coming very soon. He's going to be talking numbers. He's going to be explaining data and doing a lot. Oh, yes. Joe, yes. Yes. We roasted Ray for this yesterday. So funny.
Anyways, Joe, yeah, man, I got to get that workout in after the show. But no, Jordan Backus, Director of Analytics, he's going to be bringing a numbers-focused podcast to the channel. We'll get him on here to talk all things numbers, to talk all things hit rates, to talk all things spreadsheets and crazy shit like that. So I'm excited. Jorgen from Germany is in the building. Good afternoon to you, Jorgen, my good friend, my good buddy. But Jay, we saw a mock drop last night by two titans in the industry, and say what you want about their accuracy level. They've got some level of knowledge on the inside. They've got some level of knowledge, but the same way that we collab every single day, Mel Kiper and Todd McShay decided to collaborate and give us a joint mock draft. How many rounds did Mel and old Mel and Todd give us? Did they give us 3 rounds?
Yeah, 3 rounds. It's crazy because when I saw it, I was like, it just feels almost as if neither of them knew what to do that day. And so they're like, oh, we'll just do a joint mock draft. And so they alternated picks. They explained back and forth why they liked the picks. It was really funny, like within the actual mock draft. And if anyone wants to check it out, the link is in the description. But they actually gave the commentary of the picks like to each other. So it's like, Todd, what do you think of this pick? I think they're going to go this direction. It's like, bro, we're reading this. This isn't a podcast. So it was just funny to see how it came together. But it's interesting mock. You know, it's a little chalky for my liking. But again, these are 2 guys, like you said, that are tapped in, that have plenty of sources. So say what you want about the mock, but overall, they do know more than we do. So it's hard to critique them too much about what they decide to pick with these picks.
Yeah, we'll pick some fun at some of the picks, but ultimately, like you said, I mean, they do have a level of connection that we don't, right? Our highest level of connection to the NFL draft is Breece Hall's mother and Fred Spiller. We've got the dad of one running back, and now I want to know, did you all see, and I got to pull the tweet up. Listen, he's one of the sharpest minds in the dynasty space. Dwayne McFarland did some stuff with Establish the Run. I don't know if Dwayne is still with Establish the Run or if he's just PFF exclusive. But he posted a tweet yesterday. Let me pull this up, Jay, because I wanted violence. I chose violence when I retweeted this. Okay, where's it at? That's Jahan Dotson. That's Kyrie Irving cussing everybody out. Where's the tweet at? It was basically essentially saying, this had to have been yesterday, so I don't know why I'm scrolling.
Is it the one about Kenneth Walker?
What'd you say? No. Yeah. So no, it's not Kenneth Walker. No, it's not the one. It's this one right here. All right, let me post it. Let me post this on the screen. Let me give him some credit. Let's do this. Dwayne McFarland. That way his Twitter's on there. You can see all the likes and all that shit. All right, here we go. Let's drop it on the screen. All right. Interesting nugget from Doug on a few players that could go higher than expected in the draft. John Mechie, 2nd round. Calvin Austin, 2nd round. Zay Spiller, early 2nd round. And if you dive into the article, it talks about a lot of scouts and GMs liking the raw talent, the young, the youthfulness of one Spiller. I mean, I don't even want to focus on Spiller. I want to talk about Calvin Austin for a quick second, Jay. This dude is, 5'7", 5'7", 175.
Yeah. And he's old, too. He's not young.
If just your opinion, if he gets drafted in the 2nd round, how high are you willing to bet on that archetype of wide receiver for fantasy? I'm not talking NFL. Like, I think he's going to be a solid NFL weapon, but in fantasy, how are you chasing that?
No.
Again, we did that with Rondell last year. Are you
No. Don't even compare him to Rondell.
Okay,
That's disrespectful.
Okay.
This is Tutu Atwell's level of taking a guy high because he can return the ball and he's fast and he's shifty, and he's agile. For me, it's late 3rd. Again, like, what has Tutu Atwell done since being drafted by the Rams? Sure, he was a 2nd round pick. I get it. But at the end of the day, these guys just don't really make it in the NFL. And while I do like Calvin Austin, I just see him as Tutu Atwell. And while Tutu Atwell was a great player at Louisville, very dynamic, great yard per reception, broke out, all these things. Calvin Austin's also an older prospect playing at Memphis for, I believe, 4 years plus the pandemic year. So I'm out. Like, I don't, if you get him at Yeah, man, he was there for a long time. People thought he might come out last year, but he didn't. He stayed back another year, and he, like you said, he's shifty, he's quick. Looked good at the Senior Bowl, but I don't really want him unless it's
Looked real
maybe a
good at the
third
Senior
round pick
Bowl.
or a late third. So again, if he goes in the second, I wouldn't be shocked. Tutu I will went in the second, and I was shocked, but I'm not going to be as shocked this time around. And I just don't think I'm going to be taking him. I don't know where you're at with Austin. He's fine, but I think third round, probably late third round if it was me.
Bruning is saying Austin is different as a separator. 90% of his plays were from the outside. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough, man. Like I am not. I just don't want to chase that archetype of wide receiver anymore, man. It's just very difficult unless you're telling me Calvin Austin is the second coming of Steve Smith. You know what I mean? This undersized wide receiver that has the potential to be a dominant X. Like the fact that Steve Smith was able to do what he did throughout his NFL career at 5'9", when the rules were skewed towards the defender, they didn't have all this like early in his career where you can't touch guys and you can't get hit over the middle. Like towards the end of his career, yes, the rules had changed. But I think that's just a bet that I'm personally not willing to take. So I thought that was just an interesting nugget about, and he's not the first person to say that people are higher on Calvin Austin. I think we said it yesterday, man. I don't know if we said it on the show or if we talked about it in the Discord. I think this class is filled up with a bunch of players who are going to be really good in the NFL, like good for an NFL team. Help fit an offense, open things up for an offense, be a good offensive team fit. I just don't think that many of them are going to be fantasy superstars. You know what I mean? Maybe we shouldn't be chasing fantasy superstars anyway. Maybe we should just be chasing guys that can score, that can get on the damn field, and then, if they progress throughout their careers, they could turn into something. But I don't want to spend too much time on Calvin Austin. I just thought it was interesting and seeing a lot of smoke around him of late, and that's what we're going to get. We're 8 days out from the NFL draft, so it's going to be a lot of smoke. Everybody in here, we will be doing an NFL draft stream. Night one of the NFL draft, I'll be going live. Jay will pop in and out. I'll probably have some guests pop in and out. And just talking about the picks, reacting, talking all this. Friday morning, next Friday, so we normally do not do a wake-up show on Fridays. Next Friday morning, I will be doing the wake-up show. Jay's got some business he's got to handle, so he won't be here. So it'll just be me. It'll be me and y'all. So Friday morning after the draft, we will be tapping in and talking, first round review. We will be doing that. And then Friday evening, we will be doing a live stream to really dive into round 2 and round 3 of the NFL draft. And that's where I think we're going to see a lot of fantasy relevant guys come off of the board in round 2 and round 3. So Friday should be the running back show. Thursday should be the wide receiver show. But make sure y'all are tapped in. We're not doing this big hoopla over it. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know where to tap into to get the goods, to get that good shit, to get that blue magic. Y'all know where to come, so be there. Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday night, we're giving it to you. And then Sunday, after you get out of church, we're going to give it to you one more time. After you feel all clean and holy, we're going to give it to you one more time on Sunday with some special shit that we do after the draft. So that's sort of the lineup rolling into next week. But let's talk about this mock, man. Let's talk about this mock. All right, round one, Jay. Just hit us with a group of like 5, because I've already eaten up a shit ton of time. So just give us a group of 5.
All right, so let's start with Carolina. And so Carolina, who do they take? Ray, are they going quarterback here?
Just give us the picks.
Yeah, they are.
Just give us the damn picks, man.
Malik Willis at 6. Malik Willis at 6. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons going wide receiver, taking Garrett Wilson. You got the Jets at 10 going Drake London. You got the Eagles at 15 going Jameson Williams. And then you got the Saints at 19 going Chris Olave. So there's your top 20 fantasy relevant players. In order, Carolina, Malik Willis, Atlanta, Garrett Wilson. The Jets take Drake London. The Eagles take Jameson Williams. And the Saints take Chris Olave with their second pick at 19.
All right, pretty chalky. Garrett Wilson in Atlanta, wide receiver 1. Do you think that's when he would go off the board for most dynasty gamers? If London goes to the Jets and we're not really loving that, and J-Mo goes to Philly and Olave goes to the Saints, is it probably going to be Garrett Wilson that most people draft as the wide receiver 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think least target competition as well, right? Like, yeah, Pitts is there, but he will be the wide receiver one outside, right? And that's really what they need, whether it's London, whether it's Wilson. And it seems for whatever reason that Atlanta doesn't, you don't see Atlanta mocked Drake London a
Mm-hmm.
lot. It's really
Mm-mm.
just Garrett Wilson. They seem to be all in on Garrett Wilson. They don't seem to be very in on Jamison Williams. So it seems like Garrett Wilson or bust for them at 8. And then the interesting thing, right, is Carolina didn't take Kenny Pickett. They took Malik Willis.
Yep.
Again, it's just the talent. They think the talent is better with Malik Willis, so they went that direction. And then the Saints taking Olave. I don't hate it, don't love it. I think it's a great pick from a scheme perspective. I think we know what Michael Thomas can do. I think we know what Chris Olave can do. They kind of do similar things and can combine very well in an offense, but I still think they need a bit more of a field stretcher. But again, JMO is already off the board, so there's nothing really they can do there.
All right. So go ahead, hit us with pick 20. Where do they have these guys going? These are this is Kiper's pick. So these next two are Kiper's pick. Go with Pittsburgh, and then we'll stop at just go Pittsburgh through Detroit. Finish off the first round.
All right, so to end of the first round, you got Pittsburgh taking Kenny Pickett. You got Green Bay taking Christian Watson at 22. You got Kansas City taking Jahan Dodson. And then Detroit taking Desmond Ridder at 32. And then they did note in the mock draft that they expect Kansas City to trade up. And so that's something we've talked about a lot, but it's something they did comment on is that while they didn't have any trades in this mock, they do expect Kansas City to trade up with 29 and 30 to get a higher end wide receiver. But here they just mocked them Jahan Dodson because that was who available at the time. So again, 20, Kenny Pickett to Pitt. 22, Green Bay took Christian Watson. 29, the Chiefs took Jahan Dodson. And then Detroit took Desmond Ridder at 32, getting that 5th-year option on the quarterback.
Where's Treylon? Where's Treylon at? Did you skip Treylon?
Oh, you know what? Man, I'm sorry, man. Treylon is in here. He was 23 to Arizona. I don't know why I deleted that.
Yeah,
Off the
I'm
show
trying to
sheet.
understand what's going on. Where the hell is Treylon Burks? So Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh. He's gonna sit behind Trubisky. Christian Watson to Green Bay. That's the one where I think people would overreact and go crazy. If Christian Watson, make sure you got all the other players in the rounds while I talk through, Jay. If Green Bay drafts Christian Watson, I'd be interested to see where he goes in rookie drafts. I mean, he's going back at the first, early second right now. Oh, people will kind of flip out. I think there's a good chance that if Christian Watson goes to Green Bay, I'm not doing it. I talked about this with Josh Larkey last night. Tap into my podcast with Josh Larkey on FTN. That's just a cat that I'm willing to miss on, man. Like if he gets pushed up 107, 108 range because of the landing spot, like Green Bay, FCS wide receiver, really 1 year production. I know he's an athletic freak. If he turns out to be the next Calvin Johnson and I pass on him, then I'm fine with it, man. I'm not all the way there. I'm seeing some people have him as wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 in this class. I can't get down with that, man. Even with the landing spot like Green Bay, North Dakota State wide receiver, first year in the league, like he's one of those cats where I'll buy after year 1. I'm just not in, man. And I think this would be best case scenario for me. I would love for this to happen because I think he would start to get overvalued by the community. I'm good on Green Bay's Christian Watson. Arizona and Treylon Burks, I'm fine with it. No Christian. I'm fine with it. I think that would not be good for Rondale Moore if Arizona takes Treylon Burks. I don't think that'd be good for Rondale Moore and the hype that some people still think that Rondale Moore may bring this season. Kansas City with Jahan Dotson, I love it. I think that's a great fit for him. Interesting offensive scheme, right? Jahan Dotson, Juju, MVS, Travis Kelce, just weird cast of receivers to see how they would all fit in, but I do like that pick. And the Lions passing on quarterback at 2, which I think is the smart move. Probably taking, I haven't seen it, Jay. I'm assuming they took Kayvon Thibodeau at 2. Nope. Icky. They take Icky.
Trayvon Walker.
Wolf.
Yeah.
What a
So
shit
so
draft by
it was
Detroit.
Hutchinson,
And I like Walker,
Hutchinson,
but
Walker,
man, not
and then
at 2.
Thibodeau went at 3.
Man, I don't know. If Detroit walked out with Trayvon Walker and Desmond Ridder, good luck. Like, that's just yikes. Desmond Ridder, 32. Mel Kiper saying he's going first round. There goes round 1. Round 2, we got Todd McShay selecting Breece Hall at 37 to Houston. So there you go. Houston gets their back. Marlon Mack enthusiast, Rex Burkhead, whomever it is, David Johnson, it's over. You add Breece Hall. Who did Houston take in the first round?
They took Kayvon Thibodeau with their first pick, and then I
Okay.
believe it was Icky with their second pick.
Man, Breece Hall with Icky on one side, Laramie Tunsil on the other
Oh no,
side.
Charles Cross. Charles Cross. That's
Charles
who it
Cross.
was.
So they get, dude, come on, Jay. Come on, big dog. Come on, big dog. Houston solidifying their offensive line with Charles Cross and Laramie Tunsil. Then they've got Davis Mills. Then you add Breece Hall to the mix. Very good. I like what Houston is building. The Jets go with Kenneth Walker at 38. So there goes back-to-back running backs. RIP to what's his name? Michael Carter. He's out of the way. The Seahawks grab Matt Corral at 40. The Vikings, woof. Ooh-wee. The Irv Smith Truthers, man. They take Trey McBride at 46, top 50 pick. No Tyler Conklin, Irv Smith, injuries. They go with Trey McBride. The Commanders take Sky Moore at 47. The New Orleans Saints like this pick, Sam Howell. They go Sam Howell, top 50 pick at 49 to sit behind Jameis Winston. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it seems like it's a lock that your boy John Mechie is going to be a second-round pick. So Pittsburgh gets the Alabama wide receiver in John Mechie. The Buffalo Bills select George Pickens at 57 to give Josh Allen another target. The Green Bay Packers go back to offense and they take the tight end out of UCLA, Greg Dulcich. The Kansas City Chiefs go back to the offensive side of the ball and they select Alec Antoine Pierce, the wide receiver out of Cincinnati. So, I think that the headliners, and this is why day 2 is going to be important. This is why y'all need to tap in on day 2. Texans and Jets going back-to-back running backs off of the board within the first couple of picks of the second round. And then Seattle grabbing Matt Corral at 40. I love all 3 of those picks. I love Sam Howell to the Saints, Still kind of iffy, but I think that's a good landing spot for Sam Howell. Buffalo taking Pickens seems like a redundant asset when him and Gabe Davis kind of do the same thing. And Pickens, I don't really profile him as a slot guy, and I'm not sure if Gabe Davis played in the slot or not, but that's an interesting one. As well as the Packers going with Dulcich when they have, maybe they don't believe in Tanyan long term, but we'll see how that works. You're trying to put, if I were a Green Bay fan and we walked out of the 2022 NFL draft with Christian Watson and Greg Dulcich, I would not be excited for the future of that offensive passing attack. I think, and this is no slight to these guys, but with the players that are on the board, I think this would be a shit of a draft if that's what they walked away with when they're trying to upgrade that offense. Not really feeling that. All right, round 3, and we'll talk about all these picks. Jacksonville goes, what? Did they do this? Is this what they, okay. Sort of back-to-back picks for the Jaguars. They're going to upgrade Trevor Lawrence with one Wan'Dale Robinson and the aforementioned Calvin Austin. So, good luck piecing that together. You got Wan'Dale, Calvin Austin, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Laviska Shenault, Evan Ingram. What a gross offensive weapon.
It's just fun. It's all about Trevor Lawrence, right? He's got to make his players better. He's got to make them better. Wan'Dale, Calvin Austin, dynamic playmakers. Laviska Shenault, Christian Kirk. What a cast of receivers. Jacksonville's going places.
Whew, all right. The Colts like this pick for Indy. They take Jalen Tolbert, the wide receiver out of South Alabama. I like that for Indianapolis. You get Michael Pittman Jr., running mate. Cleveland goes with Khalil Shakir, the wide receiver out of Boise State. The Arizona Cardinals select James Cook out of Georgia to pair with James Conner and compete with Eno Benjamin for that RB2 spot. The Dallas Cowboys in the third round select Bo Melton, the wide receiver out of Rutgers, has had a very good pre-draft process. I think he's a solid wide receiver, better for the actual team than he would be for fantasy purposes. The Tennessee Titans select Velus Jones, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. The Denver Broncos select Jelani Woods. That's Jasmine's favorite tight end. Big Jelani going to Denver at 96. At 97, we get another running back off the board, RB4 in the draft. The Detroit Lions select Isaiah Spiller. Oh,
Interesting
pick.
Interesting
pick with Detroit. And the commentary is the Lions have more pressing needs, but this is really good value for Spiller here. And remember, DeAndre Swift has yet to play a full season in the NFL. That's not my words. These are the words of Todd McShay. Isaiah Spiller to Detroit in the third round. The Browns select Isaiah Likely, and the San Francisco 49ers, who apparently will be trading away Deebo Samuel in the coming days, select everybody's favorite analytical wide receiver darling, David Bell, the wide receiver out of Purdue. So, all right, let's just talk through round 3 real quick. Wan'Dale, Calvin Austin, Jalen Tolbert, Khalil Shakir, James Cook to Arizona. We're not going to mention Bo Melton to Dallas or Tennessee taking Velus Jones. Jelani Woods in Denver, Isaiah Spiller to Detroit, David Bell to Frisco. What do you think about and Isaiah Likely to Cleveland, another tight end? They bring David Njoku back. They have Harrison Bryant, and they spend a third-round pick on Isaiah Likely. This is just interesting. So what do you think about the third round of this one?
I mean, I think we have to start with Isaiah Spiller, right? And what that would mean for DeAndre Swift, what it would mean for Isaiah Spiller, because I think in a lot of ways it just kind of tanks both their value. What we think Isaiah Spiller could be probably isn't going to be with DeAndre Swift there. And what we think DeAndre Swift could be isn't going to do that with Isaiah Spiller there, because they are both very good at what they do, but their complementary roles would be eaten up by the other guy, right? So that would be a dope tandem for the NFL purposes, but for fantasy, it's just not great. Victor was saying in the comments, Kenneth Walker went to the Jets, right, at 38. But yeah, for me, it's Spiller here in the third round. I don't mind, looking at James Cook in Arizona. I think there could be a role there. I'm not sure how that fits in with Rondale Moore, right? Because I think they do kind of the same things and what they could do in that offense. But it's all about Isaiah Spiller in the third and kind of how he would look in that Detroit offense with Desmond Ridder at the helm. Don't forget that part too, right? Like, for the future would be Isaiah Spiller, DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, and Isaiah Spiller and Desmond Ridder, which is interesting. Maybe some RPOs in there. It's interesting. I don't love it though.
I'm fine with it. I mean, ultimately Swift would still be the guy. I think it is insurance. Jamal Williams is not good. I mean, I don't know if you watched him run the ball last year. Jamal Williams is just not good.
He's not good, but he's not terrible.
I didn't say he was terrible. He's just not good. He's just not good. I think it would be fine. I think that'd be fine. I think Swift would still get his. Swift would still be a beast. And you know what it would remind me of? Like the backfield tandem? It would remind me of, if y'all are old enough to remember, about, I don't know, was it 3, 5, 6 years ago when Atlanta had Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. Like, Freeman was still like RB. Like,
oh, really? I'm surprised you go that way.
Yeah,
because I'm talking about.
It's not about play style. It's how they would be used. Devonta Freeman was still one of the top fantasy running backs, and Tevin Coleman was like flex option. In best ball, he was really good because he would have those weeks where Freeman got a lot of work, but Tevin Coleman caught a couple of passes, scored a few touchdowns. Like, they were both still usable, and they both kind of did the same thing. I wouldn't be as concerned. I think it's really good for like real life football. And I don't think it would be as shitty for fantasy as we think. Swift would still be the guy. Spiller would be a complimentary role guy that would get his touches here and there. And if Jared Goff is still playing quarterback, and maybe even Desmond Ridder, it's going to be tons of checkdowns to go around. So I think both of those guys would be fine with DeAndre Swift still being the primary ball handler, and I wouldn't worry about it. But these picks from Detroit, if that's what Detroit walked out of, is Desmond Ridder and who else did they get in the second round? Was it Ridder and it just wouldn't be. It just looks gross. But I'm not as concerned about Spiller in Detroit with DeAndre Swift at all.
Yeah, like I think where my head goes immediately is actually to New Orleans, right, with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. And it's a very high-end comp, obviously, because both those guys were RB1s 4 seasons. But the reason why I kind of make that comparison is because Dan Campbell is actually on the staff, right? It's not like it wasn't. He has firsthand experience having both these guys in tandem. And so I think for him, if this was the direction they decided to go, it does kind of make sense. I think he would know how he would utilize both those guys. And Spiller probably would end up being the primary running back and then playing the Mark Ingram role. And then you would have DeAndre Swift as the complement. Now, I think it would be more what we see now, where Kamara is kind of a primary rusher, but still a primary receiver as well. And then you have another guy coming in and spelling carries. But that's kind of where my head's at, knowing Dan Campbell is on the staff playing, coaching in New Orleans. And I could see it being a spot that's not too bad. Isaiah Likely. I don't know how I feel about his spot
Yeah.
either. And the third round receivers were not what I was expecting.
Mm-mm.
But David Bell in San Francisco is intriguing because they don't have a ton of talent there. You know, they have Brandon Ayuk, they have Deebo Samuel, they have George Kittle. If Deebo Samuel leaves, I'm not going to get into vacated targets, but there should be opportunity there to some extent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, for
I think
sure.
that
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk would soak up a lot of what Deebo Samuel did from a usage perspective. I think they do a lot of things the same, obviously not at the same level, but I think that's the guy you'd probably peg to fill that role unless somehow they found a guy that could do that, because it's not going to be David Bell, but maybe a Jawan Jennings replacement type of guy.
Vic, I
Yes,
feel
it's
you,
talking
big
about
dog. I'm a big Jawan Jennings fan, so I'm like, let Deebo walk. Let Deebo get traded. Let's go Jawan Jennings so I could lap a little bit. I like Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, you're talking. Jawan Jennings is a great pick. They have Trent Sherfield, but I think they probably need a third guy just to add to that
Trent
offense a little bit, make it more deserved. They're, hey man, I don't know how they find these guys, but they find their way into roles in the offense, and it so happens to work out. But I could see them maybe trying to get a slight upgrade with a little more production, and David Bell could be a guy who could do that for them.
Yeah, no Damian Pierce, no Zamir White.
No,
Who else? Who are also all these other
Brian
favorites?
Robinson is another
D
guy wasn't
Rob
on
is
there.
another guy that's not on the list. Yeah, and this is these are their combined they're combining forces, combining powers, and this is what they thought for 3 rounds. So my big question to you, because I saw somebody, yeah, Patrick, I don't know what the hell Jay Rich is talking about with the disrespect interrupting Jay Rich when he's on his run about Trent Sherfield. I don't think Jay really believed that one. He's just throwing shit out there with that one, Trent Sherfield. But Jay, real talk though, man. Somebody said if Kenny Pickett goes to Pittsburgh, he should be 101, like Superflex 101. What do you think? Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. Are you starting to is the negative Kenny Pickett feedback starting to seep into your soul as well? Are you starting to be a little concerned about Pickett and what he could be at the next level? There's a lot of
No,
talk.
actually.
There's a lot of talk about him right now, man. There's a lot of Kenny Pickett hate going on, right? It went from Kenny Pickett love to Kenny Pickett hate, and now it's weird. What's going on?
No, actually, I'm not too concerned with Pickett at all. I think I just need him to go to a good offense where I think if you put Malik in a bad offense, I think he can kind of overcome it a little bit more if the coaching works out and he does hit and he develops all those types of things, right? Kenny Pickett, you want him to go to a place where he can really just be a quarterback, sit back and deal. Yes, he can run and move a little bit, but ultimately that offensive line is still terrible. So we'll have to see
Yeah.
what they did. I know they brought in like Arizona's backup center who was god awful to try and fill some gaps in there. It's just not a great situation. Yes, they do have the pieces in place, but we don't know whether those pieces will be able to overcome that bad offensive line and how they ultimately try and fix that problem. I also don't know how I feel about Matt Canada overall. There was a lot of hype about him last season, but now it's kind of like he didn't do the best job. The offense didn't look very good. The team didn't look very good. And everyone just blamed it on Ben Roethlisberger. But I don't necessarily think it's entirely his fault. And so you bring in another quarterback there. How does he ultimately look? I don't know. I don't mind Pickett there. Again, at least he has pieces in place that can help him win ball games. You'd have John Mechie, you'd have Deontay Johnson, you'd have Chase Claypool, and you have Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth. That is, arguably maybe a top 10 from a talent perspective group in the NFL. I think there's just a lot of talent there, but you still need that quarterback to deliver the ball and be on time and understand the offense. And we hope Pickett can be that, but we don't know Pickett can be that. That's my only fear. I think the talent is there, but if he gets drafted really high to be the guy right away, I think that's the problem. But I believe, though, there is a world where if they do take him that high, Mitch Trubisky does start the season, and then Pickett could come in the middle of the year.
I'm with you. I don't think he's starting right away. I think if they draft Kenny Pickett, he's going to sit the bench. He's going to ride behind Mitch Trubisky for a little bit, right? Whether that be the entire season, whether that be half of the season, whether that be 3/4 of the season. I don't think Pickett comes into play. The interesting thing about this mock is I think all five of the quarterbacks hit ideal landing spots. I really do. You get Malik Willis in Carolina, and good chance that Matt Rule's not the head coach after next season, right?
Yeah.
So you've got DJ Moore, you've got a wide receiver signed long term. You do have a running back in Christian McCaffrey that, unless they trade him and somebody else wants to take on that contract, he's on the roster. With Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, you've got weapons in Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth. In New Orleans, with Sam Howell going there as a top 50 pick, you've got Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and a good team around you, right? You've got a good team. Dennis Allen was there through the Sean Payton years, so I don't hate that landing spot. Matt Corral in Seattle, that's the one that I like personally. I think Matt Corral would beat out Drew Lock sooner rather than later. Don't really know what the hell is going on with Pete Carroll. Right now, as we stand today, they still have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant. That's still good pass-catching weapons around Matt Corral. And then say what you want about Desmond Ridder. If he's asked to game manage that thing with that offensive line, with Jonathan Taylor, with Michael Pittman Jr., learning behind Matt Ryan for a year in a division that's not necessarily strong outside of Tennessee, and we're thinking Houston can build something, I think all 5 of those quarterbacks hit landing spots that should make them, in Superflex formats, top 15 rookie draft picks. Like, just from the value, I think all of those guys should be somewhere inside the top 15. I don't know if you want to take any of them 101 or 102, but I don't think any of the 5 quarterbacks, if these are the landing spots and the draft capital, right, all of them got 50 and lower draft capital. Like, all of them were top 50 picks.
Yeah.
That's about all you can ask for. And the last time we played this everybody sucks game with the quarterbacks, we missed out on a couple of really good ones. So somebody's going to be good from this group. One of these guys or 2 of these guys are probably going to be pretty solid. One of them probably absolutely terrible. I think these are about as ideal landing spots as you can get for the quarterbacks, and it also makes sense for the teams drafting these players. Kind of interested to see Tennessee not dive into the quarterback pool. For as many Ryan Tannehill shares as I have, I would be happy about that. Like, just keep rolling out Air Tannehill for a little bit longer. But I think all 5 of these quarterbacks with these landing spots should be top 15 picks in Superflex drafts. But I want to ask you real quick, Jay, before we get out of here. Deebo Samuel and the rumors. We should just do a show of just straight rumors. Just spread fake news propaganda across YouTube. What are your thoughts about Deebo and everybody saying that, like, they're probably going to deal him? A good chance that he's dealt. He doesn't want to be there. He's getting death threats. He's wiped his, like, he's come out and pretty much, or at least representatives or people close to him are saying that he wants a fresh start. What do you make of this whole situation, and does this any way impact how you view what's the fallout? How do you view Trey Lance? Is this a good thing for George Kittle? Is it great for Brandon Ayuk, or is it better does this give Trey Sermon some hope that maybe they just rely on the run more? And, Elijah Mitchell hasn't been able to stay healthy for a long time, and they need to find somebody else. They only have 2 running backs on the roster right now. What's the fallout from this? And I'm with you. I don't think it's fake, man. I think Deebo wants out, man. I think Deebo wants out. He wants to be paid. I don't think San Francisco wants to pay him. I think he could be traded, man.
I think he should be traded, honestly. I think it's a foregone conclusion that he will be traded because if it's me and I'm San Francisco, I don't really want to pay him either. You look at what they do with their wide receivers, and they've been pretty successful at just drafting guys later and developing them into the offense and finding guys who just fit. You talk about who is it an upgrade for? It's an upgrade for everybody. Running backs, wide receivers, doesn't matter. You take the most dynamic player in the offense, the guy who sees the most touches in the offense out of it and onto another team, that's going to raise the floor of everybody out there, whether that's George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, whoever is the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, the running backs. Like, it could be good for everybody out there. But you know who it's not good for? It's not good for Deebo. Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't think that any other coach outside of maybe Mike McDaniel could use Deebo as effectively as Kyle Shanahan can. And maybe I'm foolish for thinking that, but the way he succeeded in that offense, I just don't believe anybody who's paying a wide receiver $30 million a year is going to play him at running back. When you're paying him, $1 million, $1.5 million to be a wide receiver because you drafted him in the 3rd round, then sure, play him at running back. The same way that you run those running backs out there, you don't care if they get hurt, you don't care how much you use them. That's what you do. But when you're trying to pay a guy $30 million a year, and that's what he wants to be in this offense, I think he's got to be out. I just don't think they'll utilize him in that way. And personally, I don't believe he's worth the same amount as DJ Moore. I don't think he's worth the same amount as DK Metcalf. I don't think he's worth the same amount as AJ Brown. I think those guys are true alpha outside receivers. And I'm not trying to say Deebo's a gadget guy because he's still really talented, but I don't think he demands the same value because the way he succeeded is not the way these guys that are getting paid succeed. And so he's kind of has to fit that niche role within an offense that isn't conducive to a $30 million contract who can just step on an offense and thrive. That's just how I see it. So I think he's going to be traded for sure. I just don't think San Francisco wants to pay him or will pay him whatever the hell he wants for his contract.
And I agree with Dalton, man. I don't think he likes doing that wide back shit either. And I don't think Kyle Shanahan cares what he likes. Like, if he calls the play, that's what they're gonna do. I think it's dirty, man. It's a dirty game. I'm sure, they think the San Francisco front office probably thinks like, man, we're pounding this dude into the ground. We can't commit $35+ million to a wide receiver who played his first. This was Deebo's first healthy season since his senior season at South Carolina. Like, this was his first healthy season. It was a great season. I think he's a phenomenal player. But if a team trades for him, they're going to have to pay him. I'm seeing Kansas City, Chargers, they have to be confident and comfortable paying, 26-year-old Deebo Samuel, who's been – I'm not saying I'm just speaking fact. I'm not talking about if he's injury prone or not. I don't know that. I'm not qualified to say someone's injury prone, but this was his first healthy season since his senior year in college. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is for real. I don't think this is gossip. I don't think it's a smokescreen. This seems like it could get real nasty real quick, man. So I'm hoping if he does get moved, he gets moved to a good spot. Like, I'd hate to see him go to the Jets or something like that. I would love to see him. If you're Kansas City, would you give up one of your first-round picks for Deebo Samuel straight up?
Yeah, I would. I think that's a perfect thing to do. I mean, the problem is though is the contract. It's not whether or not he's worth the pick. It's, can you afford to pay him? And that's the real issue here. I can't believe, when you really think about it, Miami traded all this draft capital for Tyreek Hill, because if you're San Francisco, that's kind of what you want to return, right? Like, Deebo's, I believe, younger or close to the same age, similar production.
He just turned 26.
Right? So he's not super old, but again, I don't think any team's going to trade for Deebo Samuel knowing his injury history and what he produced, with knowing you have to pay him $30 million on top of that. So that's kind of the issue that I'm finding myself in. I think he does get traded. Who that suitor is, I don't know. And we may be looking at a holdout situation, honestly. Like, I think A.J. Brown's going to get paid. I think DK is going to get paid because teams want to pay those guys. I think Deebo is the odd one out where no one really wants to pay him that much. And again, if you have no trade suitors, then he's kind of just stuck there in San Francisco.
Super chat from Marlon. Bring on Joe and or Jasmine as special guests for an episode. # bring on Joe. They know where to find me. Get at me. We'll bring them on. Bring their crazy asses on here so we can talk some shit early in the morning and piss everybody off in the chat. Not especially Jasmine. Joe's a little more tame. Jasmine is wild, man. Bring them on. I'll take J and J. We can get it popping. J, and J Rich. There we go. 3 J's. JJ and J Rich. Sure. We can make it happen. All right, we got another one from Brandon. I took over a terrible orphan Devi team. That's mistake number 1. The only real asset I had was Herbert. I teared down for Fields, Mooney, and a 2023 rookie and a Devi first. Yeah, man. Brandon, come holler at me later. Yeah.
Patreon.com/allgas.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have done this. Are you asking for some? Are you asking me, should you tear down, or are you telling me you tear down to Fields, Mooney, and a 2023 rookie and Devi first? The Devi first to be all right, but I don't think I would have made that move. I don't think I would have teared down from Herbert to Fields, Mooney, and some hopeful rookies. I don't think I would have done that. All right, Rico Stone. If Mayfield finds his way to Carolina or Seattle, how many tiers would DJ Moore and DK fall? Baker and
0.
I'm
Zero.
I'm not out on
Zero.
Baker, man. I know
Zero.
he's a dick. I'm not out on Baker
Zero.
Mayfield, man. I don't think they would fall any. I don't think they.
0.
I'm just asking. Would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Kenny Pickett?
Honestly, give me Baker Mayfield. I'm being dead serious. Like, give me the experience at the quarterback position over a rookie. And I think that's not ridiculous. I just think it didn't work out in Cleveland.
Yeah, man. I think I'd rather have Baker Mayfield too. I think I would. I know it feels dirty. It feels gross. I think I'd rather have Baker Mayfield over Kenny Pickett. James, what's up, big dog? Yes, we are going to do a Q&A show. We were supposed to do it today, and then I completely just said, no, we're not doing it. We're going to do this. So, yes, we will do a Q&A. You want to do it tomorrow? Want to just Q&A it tomorrow, Jay?
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
All right,
let's do it tomorrow.
We'll Q&A it tomorrow, James. Jay Wack in the building. What's going on?
What's good, Jay Wack?
Shout out Dynasty Nerds, Jared Wack. Larry, talk to you in a minute. Text me today, bro. Text me today. I miss you. Miss you, Jay Wack. I was thinking about you yesterday, and I had a message typed up, and then I don't know why I didn't send it, but hit me up, man. I miss you. All right, y'all. Baker boys, baby. All right. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Jay Wack in the house. Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold. Easy. I'm with you, Jasmine. Celebs throwing their money around. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tapping in. Like we said, we're doing an NFL draft stream. Night one. Wake up. We will do it. I will do it on Friday morning by myself. Joe and Jasmine, if y'all want to come on, holler at me. We'll get y'all on for the Friday post-round 1 NFL draft stream. Tomorrow, Q&A, whatever y'all have, drop it in the comments. Tell us what you want to talk about. Whatever questions you have, hit us up. We appreciate y'all. Be great on this Hump Day Wednesday, and we'll be back tomorrow. We out. Peace.